I'm your president, Sadie Goldman.
And I'm part of the Finance Committee, Sonia Khianey.
This episode is a big one because on November 3rd, when you walk into the polling booth, you're not just voting for candidates.
You're voting on the actual Constitution of Virginia.
3 constitutional amendments, 3 separate yes or no questions, and honestly, a lot of people don't even realize these are on the ballot until they're sitting there reading them for the first time.
Which is a problem because these aren't small things we're talking about. We're talking about voting rights, marriage, and reproductive rights.
So, today, we're breaking down what each one of them actually says, what it would change, and what the arguments are on both sides.
We're not telling you how to vote. We're telling you what you're voting on.
Let's start with the one that's probably gotten the most attention. This is the Right to Reproductive Freedom Amendment.
The actual language would add a fundamental right to reproductive freedom to the Virginia Constitution. It would cover the ability to make and carry out decisions relating to prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, contraception, abortion care, miscarriage management, and fertility care. That's a lot.
So this is broader than just abortion. It's contraception, IVF, miscarriage care, the whole range of reproductive health care decisions.
Right now in Virginia, abortion is legal up until the 3rd trimester, but that's based on state law, not the Constitution.
Okay, this next one is close to our hearts. Obviously, because it's literally about who gets to vote.
This is the Felony Voting Rights Restoration Amendment. Here's the current system. If you're convicted of a felony in Virginia, you lose your right to vote, and it stays lost unless the governor himself personally restores it.
Individually, one person at a time. It's entirely up to whoever's governor at the time, and there's no guaranteed process or timeline.
This amendment would change that completely. It would establish a constitutional right to vote for all citizens who aren't currently incarcerated for a felony.
Virginia is actually one of the few states left that still permanently strips voting rights this way unless a governor steps in.
And the numbers here are pretty striking. Virginia has one of the highest incarceration rates of the entire democracy of the world, and Black Virginians are disenfranchised by the system and at much higher rates than non-Black Virginians.
Okay, the third one. This is the marriage amendment, and it actually has a really specific history in Virginia.
Back in 2006, Virginia voters passed something called the Marshall-Newman Amendment, which wrote a ban on the same-sex marriage directly into the state's constitution. It passed with 57% of the vote.
Then, in 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Obergefell versus Hodges that same-sex marriage is protected nationwide, so that ban has legally been enforceable for over a decade.
But here's the thing. It's still sitting in Virginia's constitution. It just doesn't have any legal effect right now.
This amendment would actually remove that language. The ballot question asks whether the Constitution should be amended to remove the ban on same-sex marriage, affirm that 2 adults may marry regardless of sex, gender, or race, and require all legally valid marriages to be treated equally under the law.
If it passes, Virginia would become the 5th state to remove a same-sex marriage ban from its constitution, after Nevada, California, Colorado, and Hawaii. Okay, practical stuff, because this is where people will get tripped up.
These 3 amendments will appear as separate yes or no questions on your ballot, below the candidate races. They're easy to miss if you're not going in there expecting them.
You can vote yes on one, no on another, and skip a third if you want. They're completely independent of each other.
If you skip a question entirely, your other votes still count, and you don't have to answer all 3 of your ballots to be valid.
Go to vpap.org, the Virginia Public Access Project, to read the full exact ballot language before you go vote, not just our summary here.
And if you want to see how your own delegate or state senator voted on each of these, that's also on SAVEthePolls. Totally nonpartisan, totally free. Okay, so 3 amendments on the November ballot. Reproductive freedom, automatic voting rights restoration for people with felony convictions, and removing the same-sex marriage ban from the Constitution.
All 3 passed the General Assembly twice, with an election in between, which is the only way an amendment can reach the Virginia voters.
So share this with someone who needs it. Bye!